favorable fuel. It's just not going to have quite as much fuel for these storms to work with. So let's drag that line out past Shelbyville. And since it's moving at 65 miles per hour, it'll move through the rest of our viewing area relatively quickly. So it'll be moving into Shelbyville here. Didn't pick up on Shelbyville, but Shepherdsville at 12:23. So it's still a little bit of ways away for Shepherdsville, but we'll start noticing it pushing into the west end of Metro Louisville here pretty much right now. So it's in the process of crossing the Ohio River. It'll be arriving near Frankfort at about 1 a.m. So pushing out of our viewing area here really within about the next hour, which is good news. And then hopefully by that point, we'll be able to cancel that tornado watch will be able to be canceled as well. Christina, let's pull up one of our metro cams that are looking off to the west. Here we go. This is our camera on top of the hospital curve. You can see the winds shaking the camera around, but we don't see any lightning or thunder with this at the moment. There's some lightning right there. Let's move to our U of L camera, and actually this one is okay.
Sorry,
this
Alden.
is a broad. No, you're fine.
Jumping the gun.
No, you're fine. You can read my mind there. So here's downtown Louisville from our U of L online at campus camera. Looks like we got a little plane right there, so we still have some flights coming into SDF at the moment. So you'll see some flashes of lightning, you'll hear some rumbles of thunder, and there's some more lightning right there. So we could be seeing this lightning activity beginning to pick up just a little bit, and you'll have those strong winds of around 60, maybe even up to 70 miles per hour pushing into the region. In fact, Christina, check chat and see what exactly those wind speeds are for that severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, for that severe thunderstorm warning, we have 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail is going to be possible as well.
Okay, so just some very small hail. Penny-sized hail isn't really hail that's going to do any damage, but it is going to make things sound fairly loud out there. So seeing quite a bit of lightning with these storms at the moment. We'll just go back to radar and we'll put on our reflectivity mode, and we'll track this line of storms as it heads back into our area. So we'll get in just a little bit closer here, and from around Sellersburg down toward Brandenburg, we'll put that new track on as it begins to push through our area. And then after that, we'll be analyzing our storm fuel to see how much of that is available as well. So she drags that line due to the east, pretty much along I-64, maybe down just a little bit south there, and let go, and we'll see what those times are. Shelbyville will be arriving at 12:28, so within about the next 18 minutes, giving you an idea of how quickly it's moving. 65 miles per hour, pretty much highway speed. Starting to move into Metro Louisville right now. Shepherdsville, you're waiting for this activity near Brandenburg to start to make its way into central Bullitt County. Still going to be a little bit, about 18 minutes for you as well, as this line is oriented from northeast to southwest. Let's put a radar loop on, let's loop this for the last hour, and you can see, and we'll leave this track on as well. So you can see that it's beginning to push across the Ohio River at the moment. And let's take this track off, and we'll get back onto the warned area in particular, and we'll see we'll check out that area of possible rotation that we had earlier as well. So as Christina gets radar ready here, just a good idea to just go ahead and stay inside for tonight. Thankfully, we don't have any tornado warnings at the moment, but when you do have these gusty winds, you just don't want to be outside. Of course, lightning is also a danger. So Christina, let's zoom back in there on southern Harrison County, just to the west of Valley Station. We're getting a new radar scan in right now. I'm watching this little area of rotation that's just to the southwest of Elizabeth. But again, we don't have any tornado warnings that are in place. And if the National Weather Service hasn't issued a tornado warning yet, that's because they do not have that concern for any possible tornadoes either. Christina, let's put this into motion here over the last hour really quick, and we'll see how that's evolved as well. And it's also looks like it's weakened just a little bit. There's the radar site where you have don't zoom out. Let's get back in a little bit closer. But there's the radar site just to the north of it. And as it's getting fairly closer, as it gets closer to the radar site, we're going to get much more accurate representation of of that cell, so it's being scanned very accurately. And you can also see over that last hour that rotation has weakened a little bit too, just to the south of Elizabeth, but still getting some of those fairly strong gusty winds as it gets ready to push into the Valley Station, PRP, and Shively area, this whole line right here. Let's pause this really quick, and Christina will get some safety tips ready as well in case we do see any areas of flash flooding. But thankfully, since we don't have any tornadoes, you know, there's no need to really take shelter at the moment. But let's go ahead and look at some of those that flash flood safety information there. You want to avoid those flooded areas altogether. You know, if you do have anything that's flooded, thankfully we don't have any flood warnings in place. Big saying, of course, is always turn around, don't drown. It only takes 1 to 2 feet of flowing water to wash away vehicles, and only about 6 inches of flowing water to knock you off your feet. And of course, in the event that your basement was flooded, again, we don't have any flood problems. You don't go into your basement before that electricity is turned off. So let's go back to Cape right now. We'll look at our storm fuel, and this will give us an idea of what these storms are feeding off of. Here's I-65 right here. To the west, these orange and red shades, that's indicating by our key up here some moderate to high fuel. So any storms that still develop near Evansville still have a good deal amount of energy that they could feed off of. But notice I-65 and to the east, there's not really anything. So I-65 in a way, not really, but in a way is like a wall. And after that, we just don't really see any of that fuel. So as these storms continue to push to the east, they're also going to continue to weaken. We'll go back to velocity really quickly and we'll zoom in closer to the metro. Actually, oh, no, leave it here really quick. Leave it here. Just want to look outside really quick. We'll see some more flashes of lightning. Got some cars traveling along the 2nd Street Bridge. You can see the rain that's falling on the camera as well. So it is starting to rain probably somewhat heavily here in downtown Louisville. Let's go back to radar really quick. We'll have lightning on there as well. And then we will put another track on this. Afterwards, we'll take a look at some of those wind speeds too. So moving into the western right now near Shively, get in even closer actually. Let's really get in almost street level there on West Louisville. New Albany raining fairly heavily. Jeffersonville, you're getting that heavy rain. Clarksville, Portland neighborhood, you're getting that heavy rain. This is a good spot to leave it. Shively as well. That rain will be moving into Germantown here soon. Let's loop this now and we'll see just how quickly it's moving. Again, moving at highway speeds, and they just put out a new severe thunderstorm warning. Get the information for me on that really quick, Christina.
Yes, new severe thunderstorm warning. This is extending 10 miles northwest of LaGrange to near Valley Station. It is moving east at 70 miles per hour, so it is absolutely racing off to the east. So I'll go ahead and put a track on there for you, Alden.
It is moving fairly quickly. Let's pull out so we can see that entire warning. And oh wow, that's actually a very large warning there. So pretty much includes the entirety of Jefferson County, includes the entirety of Oldham County, also there near Clark County as well, including Salisbury, also eastward into parts of Shelby County and Henry County, and that's until 12:45 a.m. So roughly about 30 minutes here. Let's stop radar. You said it's moving to the east at 70 miles per hour. We'll draw that track from, let's do it from Madison down towards the radar site, and then we'll just drag that pretty much due east at 70 miles per hour. And since it's moving so quickly, that's good news because it'll be getting out of our hair here fairly soon as well. And as I was just explaining a couple of minutes ago, since there isn't very much storm fuel east of I-65, these storms are going to have a lot harder time maintaining their strength. And as they continue to push further east, they're also going to be more likely to weaken. So it's in Metro Louisville right now. Shepherdsville, that southern edge there, will be arriving at about 12:23 here. So within under 10 minutes. Newcastle, you'll be on the northern edge of this line, 12:29 a.m. Frankfort at about 1 a.m. and then Georgetown, which is outside of our viewing area, that'll be moving in your location if we do have any viewers out there at about 1:09 a.m. Eastern time. Let's put this back into motion. We'll leave that track on for right now. So if you're in Salisbury, you're seeing some of that very heavy rain beginning to push into downtown Louisville at the moment. Let's go ahead and clear off that track now. We'll get back in. We'll center in on Metro Louisville. Let's look at the entirety of Jefferson County. We'll just have that centered in there on the screen. So some very heavy rain falling there. Let's go to our U of L camera and we'll see what the okay. All right, so we've actually gone out to our storm chaser, Reed Yaden and John Humphreys. They're on I-65. It looks like they are heading south right now. Are they in southern Indiana? Oh, they're actually right by U of L. Okay, so they're headed south on I-65 at U of L. You can see just how heavily it's raining right now. You can see occasional flashes of lightning. Actually have a decent amount of traffic out there. Their wipers are going on full blast, so it is raining very heavily. They're actually getting ready to pass at Cardinal Stadium. They're by the baseball and softball fields at the moment as well, specifically near the Crittenden exit there. We're passing exit 133. And traffic still moving fairly okay. Probably dealing with some of those strong wind gusts as well. Christina, let's go check out our hospital curve camera. We'll look at that after she gets that popped up. We'll switch back to our hospital curve camera, see what it looks like from downtown. And then we'll take another look at radar. So here we are at U of L. Camera's shaking around there fairly strongly. So that's giving you an idea of those wind gusts. And you can't really see downtown anymore either. And as she switches to our hospital curve camera, you're also going to notice how heavy a lot of that rain is, as we still see some of those flashes of lightning pushing through the area as well. But those winds are really picking up quite a bit. And Christina, when you get a moment, we'll see what exactly those wind speeds are doing for us as well. So there's our Hughes and Coleman camera. Not shaking quite as much there, but we still have some of that very heavy rain and flashes of lightning. So that water is pretty much hitting right directly into the face of our camera there, which is on top of hospital curve. So we're going to get back to radar here in just a second. I'm going to center in on Metro Louisville. And then we'll go ahead and pop radar back up. Oh, it is. Thank you. So Jeffersonville raining very heavily right now. St. Matthews also raining quite heavily. It's beginning to push out of the Shively neighborhood already. Also got some heavy rain down towards the Valley Station location too. Let's put on our wind speeds, and then we'll try to query some of those wind speeds to see what radar is estimating those sustained winds that could be gusting at. And we'll need to take off warnings so we can actually be able to analyze them. So some of these pink colors indicating those higher wind speeds, probably around 60 miles per hour, I would guess. So yeah, about almost 70 miles per hour there near I-64 and I-264, about 66 miles per hour as you get a little bit closer to Anchorage and the Tom Sawyer Park. Up near Prospect, about 66 mile per hour wind speeds. What do we have up here near Goshen? Let's check out some of those winds, even though they are actually in a severe thunderstorm warning as well. 70 mile per hour winds there, and it's 70 mile per hour winds, and it's also moving at about 70 miles per hour. Now up here near LaGrange, that's probably being detected a lot higher up in the atmosphere. It's probably a couple of thousand feet high at that point, so those are much stronger winds that are not actually making it to the surface at the moment, as we get a new radar scan trying to come in right now. So let's go back to our reflectivity mode, and we'll look at just how heavy a lot of that rain that is falling. It's coming down in curtains. Quite frankly. So Jeffersonville, St. Matthews, Germantown getting that very heavy rain. In fact, let's get in almost street level there in as we head toward Louisville's east end, So Germantown raining very heavily. Audubon Park also raining quite heavily at the moment. Northfield getting that very heavy rain all along that I-71 corridor too. So a severe thunderstorm warning. We have wind speeds of around 70 miles per hour, but we don't have any tornado warnings, which is the good news, but just some very heavy rain that's pushing through our metro area at the moment as well. Let's go ahead and take another look outside, Christina, and we'll see just how heavily a lot of this rain is falling. We still have our hospital curve camera that's punched up there, and we can still see those flashes of lightning. We can still see occasionally those wind gusts, and we'll also need to take a look at some of those reported wind gusts as well, because I'm curious to see exactly what the airport is recording for those wind gusts, because we were mentioning the potential of those speeds up to about 70 miles per hour. So this is the latest update. It takes a while to update, so we probably have some gusts that are a little bit higher than 37 miles per hour in the metro, I would imagine. Madison reporting a wind gust of at least 50 miles per hour. And if we look at our current wind speeds as well, we're probably going to notice some of those heavier downpour, those sustained winds around that 20 to 30 mile per hour range too, as they push on through the metro. Area. And, we're trying to pull up a metro camera here. This is 65 south at the Kennedy Bridge. It's going to take a few seconds for it to load, but as it does, we will notice just some of that heavy rain there moving along I-65 south at the moment. Traffic still moving relatively okay as well. But of course, if you do know anybody that's out, or for some reason you do go out, you want to drive slower on those area roadways. Let's go back to radar now, please. And we'll go ahead and put another track on this. It's moving to the east at about 70 miles per hour. And as it does push to the east, you're going to notice that heavy rain. You're going to notice those high wind gusts as well. So it's nothing outside of that one warning. Nothing else is really too significant at the moment, which is very good news. And frankly, after this line passes, our severe weather risk and potential is going to start to decrease quite a bit. So still moving at 70 miles per hour. Bedford, you're not in the warning, but still has some very strong, very heavy rain. You'll notice that heavy rain pushing into LaGrange relatively soon as well. And we'll put a storm track on this, Christina, as it moves off to the east at about 70 miles per hour. And we'll see when exactly it'll be arriving in your towns. The last time we checked, it was going to be pushing into Frankfort within about the next 30 to 40 minutes. So after this line gets through here, we'll start to see conditions quiet down in our area quite a bit. So Capital City moving in at 12:54. We'll notice it in Frankfort also at 12:54, Shelbyville at 12:37. So in Shelbyville here within the next 15 minutes. Let's take off that track. We'll center back in on Metro Louisville, and we'll just check out some of those areas where that heavy rain is falling. And if we might also try to get back out to Reed Yaden to see where he is as well. So St. Matthews, Northfield seeing that heavy rain, Audubon Park, Louisville International Airport also getting that very heavy rain, Iroquois Park, PRP, Shively, Portland, the heaviest rain is beginning to move out of your area. Butchell also getting some of that heavy rain, also about to get a strong downpour moving into Okolona as well. Let's put this into motion and we'll see if it's already started to weaken as it's pushed east of I-65. Let's see here. Maybe just a little bit. So near Prospect, still getting that very heavy rain along I-265 up near the Tom Sawyer Park area, Anchorage, Middletown neighborhoods, as you also move up towards LaGrange. So this is really the strongest area right here. Let's leave radar still. This is the strongest area right here. And we still have some heavy rain that'll be pushing south into portions of Valley Station as well. And a broader view of our, let's pull out and we'll look at the entire viewing area. We still have this activity right here. It's feeding off of the outflow boundary, which is that little thin line, and that's going to allow those storms to maintain their health just a little bit, but they are continuing to weaken as this earlier activity probably used up a good amount of that storm fuel for them. So Christina, we'll do a couple more tours around here and then we'll get off the air for just a little bit. Do you have any updates from from the weather chat?
We are not seeing any sort of updates or reports from the National Weather Service at this point. So again, no news is good news in that department. I am keeping a very close eye on it though.
All right, and if you also have any questions that you want to ask, meteorologist Sam Gabrielli is doing our Facebook and YouTube live. You can ask him questions there on our WHAS11 Facebook, and he will answer those questions even after we get off the air. Sam will continue for a few extra minutes. Also, download the free WHAS11 app that will send alerts straight to your cell phone in the event of a new tornado warning that will wake you up, hopefully, if you have your ringer on, and you can take your necessary safety precautions if needed. So here's another look at the metro area. I just heard some rumbles of thunder here outside of our studio. Not actually too much lightning with this, which tells me that although this is very heavy rain, these storms aren't as strong as they were earlier when we had a lot more lightning when they were pushing it, when they were west of I-65. In fact, you can see all those lightning strikes that we had, and then as they pushed east of I-65, they've weakened quite a bit. So we'll zoom in here on the eastern half of the metro, east of I-65 in southern parts of Oldham County, also parts of western Shelby County. This is a good view. So getting some of those lightning strikes there near Prospect and Anchorage. We're starting to weaken a little bit, but it's this area between Prospect and Anchorage headed to the east in northern Shelby County that'll start to see some of that very heavy rain pushing in. We'll also take one more check at our sustained wind speeds and our wind gusts. I'm curious to see what those are being reported as that severe thunderstorm warning, as a reminder, has a potential of some 70-mile-per-hour winds. So we're seeing sustained winds up to about 25 miles per hour here in the metro. And then as we look at those gusts, we'll probably notice those on the order of 40 to 50 miles per hour as well. So yeah, we had a 51-mile-per-hour wind gust at Aldi International, 48-mile-per-hour wind gust up there in Madison, Indiana as well. And of course, we're also going to have to keep an eye on any potential power outages. But as Christina pulls up our wind gust futurecast, we'll notice tomorrow morning after it's done raining, it's still going to be fairly windy. We'll still have those wind gusts of around 30 to 40 miles per hour. And even as we head into the afternoon, we'll see those wind gusts continuing to get stronger up to 40 to 50 miles per hour. So even if we don't have power outage problems tonight, we could still see the potential for some power outage problems tomorrow as well. Before I let you go, we'll take another look outside from one of our metro cameras just to get an idea of what's happening. Let's pull up the Hurstbourne camera, excuse me. Look at that Hurstbourne cameras. That's actually closer to where that area of rain is moving right now. And we'll probably notice how heavy a lot of that rain is falling at the moment. And we'll probably see that camera shaking around just a little bit. Well, we might see that camera shaking around. The flag isn't moving, so it's possible we've lost connection there at our Hurstbourne camera. But let's move back to our U of L camera. We'll check out that one really quick. As she gets that loaded up, it always takes a moment to load. So camera not shaking around quite as much, still have some of that light to moderate rain falling, and we'll probably see a few lightning flashes as well. So we still have that severe thunderstorm warning that's in place until 12:45, so that'll be expiring here relatively soon. And other than that, just some gusty downpours. Not as much activity back to our west, and that's going to be weakening, thankfully, but nevertheless, we still have that tornado watch in place until 3 a.m. And the WHAS11 weather team will be here to keep you advised. So in the meantime, I'm Alden German with Christina San Juan and Sam Gabrielli. We'll send it back to regular programming.